Let's begin. To start this tutorial, you're going to go to New, go to Browse Templates, choose the template called ACAD ISO 3D.dwt, click Open, and we're going to type in the command plane surf. Just before we do that, we're going to turn on Grid Snap. That's Command B, and F9 on PC. And the command that we're using now is called plane surf, PLANESURF. You're going to click Enter, and you're going to go select right from the center. It's important that you make your surface exactly the size of one cube. So it'll be a nice even square. There's our surface that we've made using plane surf. The next thing we're going to do is type in the command convert to Nurbs. You'll see it come up in the suggestions in the search bar, in the search menu. So you're going to go convert to Nurbs. We're going to click the surface. We're going to click enter. And it may look like nothing happened, but if I reselect convert to Nurbs and click the surface again, nothing will happen, but it has changed. So the next thing we're going to do is type in the command rebuild. You'll see a symbol of a hammer and a wrench. If you want to be very particular, you can type in CV rebuild, but just typing in the word rebuild will get you the tool command that you want. Click enter. We're going to click the object, the surface, and we're going to type in 5, and then we're going to type in 5. What this does is it's going to add a bunch of different vertices to our surface that will allow us to sculpt the surface and create a more organic form using Nurbs modeling. We're going to click OK. The next thing we're going to do is type in the command CV show. And we're going to select our surface and click enter. You'll see a whole bunch of different vertices will display on the grid. On our surface, we're going to switch our visual style to wireframe. As you can see, all of the vertices are now showing on our surface. And we're going to go and use the tool called selection filtering. So most likely on your computer, selection filtering, the tool will not be showing here in all the different tool icons at the bottom. What you're going to need to do is go to this little gear on PC. It will be 3 bars. You'll click it, and you're going to click on the box that says selection filtering, and you're going to select that and turn it on. As you can see, I had already had it on as it's check marked, and you will make sure to check mark it and turn it on so that you have access to the tool at the bottom of your screen. You can also access selection filtering on PC through the top ribbon toolbar. You'll see it in the home section, and it will be listed as selection, and it will say non-filtering. You'll just switch to the one that says Vertex. But since we're on Mac, I'll continue with the selection filtering process on Mac. It's not too different on PC. The only difference is that icon by default will look like this. When you add it to your bottom toolbar, you'll see it will look like that, and it will be highlighted blue. On Mac, this is one of the few ways that I'm aware of to turn on selection filtering. So by default, it will go on Mac as this, but on PC, as soon as you turn on the selection filtering tool, it immediately goes to Vertex. So on Mac, you have to turn on Vertex in the drop menu, and you're going to select these points. What selection filtering does is it allows you to select specific points on the surface or on an object. It also allows you to use different selection filtering tools like edge filtering. So if you would say you only wanted to select an edge, you could do that. To deselect, you just need to press escape. And I have edge filtering on. So if I click there, now the edge highlights. Face filtering, click there, the face filters. So I'm going to go back to vertex filtering. And I'm going to just rotate my camera slightly so I can make a box selection a little easier. Make sure that's on, so that's good. Vertex filtering is on. And I'm going to select all of the points in the middle of my surface. And I'm going to turn off grid snap for this, and I'm going to turn on a tool at the bottom called ortho mode. It's going to look like an L with a little square. For the hotkey for PC is F8. On Mac, it's Command L. And what we're going to do next, as you can see, it's on because it's light blue. Since we're in the visual style wireframe, we have access to the 3D tools. Be sure to be in wireframe because if you're in regular 2D wireframe, you won't have access to the 3D tools and you will be able to drag and drop, but it is a little bit more finicky and tricky. So as we continue, we're going to grab the blue cone for the Y. So we're going to pull it up along the Y. We're going to stretch it upwards. We're going to press escape. The next thing we're going to do is rotate our camera slightly so we can get a better angle. And we're going to select these two dots. Just to show you what it looks like our object so far, I'm going to go over to shaded and I'll move back to that last step. You can see that our object looks kind of like a bed sheet pulled up. We'll go back to wireframe, but as you can see, when you go and change between your visual styles, it's going to drop you out of the selection filtering tool and go back to the default settings. So you always have to return back on your selection filtering when you switch visual styles. You also need to remember that if you click escape too many times, it will also turn off selection filtering. See, it has turned off and gone back to the default mode for selection. We're going to go back to wireframe just to continue so we can see our work. I'm going to rotate slightly and I'm going to go back to selecting these 2 points. I'm going to grab the blue cone, bring my line down. See my blue cone, bring it down, press escape, press the back blue. I'm I'm going to then select the back point that we've brought down, this vertex here. And I'm going to then grab the green cone, pull this that way, always making sure that it's a nice straight line and I'm not stretching at an angle and causing the shape to deform and become uneven. Checking periodically, just in case I've made a mistake. But since I have ortho mode on, all of my movements should be very structured and have a minimal amount of deformity in our end product. So we're going to go now. I have to deselect this selection by pressing escape, and you can see it's no longer red. I'm now going to go and do the right vertex. I'm sorry, the other vertex that we brought down at the front, and I'm just going to move this out a bit and upwards. I think I'm also going to just keep playing with the back just until I'm able to get something that looks like it could hold a person comfortably, a nice arc. I'm going to bring this up a little bit and then bring it out a bit. I'm going to rotate to take a look at it. So this looks like a pretty comfortable lounge chair. It's a little bit steep over here, but for what we want to do and this tutorial, it's fine. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the corner, go to this vertex in the middle. So I was a little bit too aggressive with the escape button, and I have to turn back on selection filtering and go back and turn on the vertex one. I'm going to rotate my object, and I'm going to click these 2 points that are across from each other. Make sure that they're selected together, because if they're not, it's going to be uneven, or you might have warping or other issues. If you do, just press Control Z to go back and fix your mistakes. We're going to bring our vertex upwards, press Escape. Now we're going to go to the front vertex, pull it upwards, press Escape, go to the back vertex, in the center. We're always picking for this tutorial, the center vertexes, just to pull up to create a visually lighter looking form. And now we're going to go and change to shaded. And you'll see we've created a kind of funky outdoor monoblock plastic furniture. It's a little bit too steep, this piece, so maybe I'll raise it just a little bit, as it's kind of probably would be on a little bit uncomfortable. So I'm just going to raise this up a bit. And that should suffice for what we want to do. And here is our chair. Right now, it is currently just a surface. So for our next command, we're going to do the command thicken, Thicken, thicken. We're going to click enter. And we're going to set our thickness to 1. Try again. Select the surface. Try one. Click enter. So it did not work, most likely because it is intersecting certain surfaces. So we're going to try and do it again and do select the surfaces and type in the thickness as, let's try 0.5. There we go. So that worked. And now we have something that is recognized as a 3D solid, and it is printable in a 3D printer. And that concludes the end of our tutorial.